A decision on Ntuthuko Shoba's second bail bid will be handed down by the Roodepoort Magistrate's Court on the 7th of May. Presenting heads of argument earlier, Shoba's legal team highlighted his transparency during the investigation into Ntuthuko's murder. Shoba is accused of masterminding the murder of his then 8-month pregnant girlfriend in June last year. Bule was found hanging from a tree in the veld in Roodepoort with multiple stab wounds. Convicted killer Muzikayise Malephane, in his guilty plea, said that Shoba had paid him to kill Bule in an effort to conceal her pregnancy.
The applicant conveniently neglected to inform this court that in actual fact he communicated with the killer, Mr. Malephane, 23 times, of which 11 times was before the deceased arrival, 8 times in the presence of the deceased, once after the deceased left.
Well, our reporter Linda Mnisi has been watching those proceedings. He joins us in studio. Linda, good evening. It's been somewhat, I think, emotionally taxing as an outsider watching it. I can't imagine what this has been like for the families involved, because ultimately, you know, people want to get to the bottom of what truly happened. Why does Mr. Shoba believe that he should be let out?
Well, Kathy, and that's precisely the question that the magistrate was asking today. I mean, he brought this new bail application citing new facts, and the big question was, what are the new facts? What do you have to present that is different from the first bail application, and what is exceptional about your circumstances that would warrant bail? We heard, Kathy, over the weekend that the JSC fired him. Now, that comes at the backdrop of, the court hearing that he used the JSE landline to contact the now convicted killer in the case. So his defense saying that, well, because he's now lost his job, that is another circumstance, because even his job is central to his personal circumstances, because he did indicate that he takes care of his grandmother. But, also going back to the issue of the evidence, telephonic conversations last week, we heard WhatsApp messages which delved deeper into the kind of relationship that Ntuthuko Shoba had with Tsogofatso, where she had even indicated that, she's feeling unsafe. She's not sure about visiting him on the day of, the murder itself. Now, Ntuthuko Shoba saying that, well, at this particular point, he's suffering prejudice as a result of losing his job, and will continue doing so if he's not let go, so that he can also attend to the case of his employment.
So we know that he's appealing the decision that was taken by the JSC. Today, his legal team also making arguments about how he had been helpful to the state in its case, which is why he believes the court should look on him with a certain level of leniency. What did he actually do?
Yeah, well, he's basically saying that throughout the investigations he's been quite transparent. In fact, he says he's the one that led the police to the CCTV footage that ultimately led to the arrest of Muzikayise Malephane. He said this is one of the exceptional things that he's done. He thinks the court should commend him for the work that he's done, because really it's one of its kind, where you find someone really pointing the police to the right direction. In fact, if he wanted to conceal evidence, he wouldn't be directing the police to this, evidence. But the defense saying that it is not entirely true that you are the one that led, the police to the CCTV footage. In fact, he later, we heard the last time, that he went back to ask for footage, and the state saying, well, why did you do that? And, at the time the state says, we were told that he said, I wanted for my defense. So the state saying, well, it's not quite entirely true that you could have helped, in this regard, but you are, in fact, the person that we think conspired and premeditated this murder.
When are we expecting a decision, Linda?
The decision is expected on the 7th of May. So, of course, the magistrate has to consider his personal circumstances. And I think that most importantly, the issue around the new facts. Which are the new facts? Because you'll remember, in the first bail application, he had, the magistrate had said that there are no exceptional circumstances. It wasn't enough. So the question now is, did he bring enough for the court to release him on bail? Because he also says he wants to prepare prepare for his subsequent trial. He says Muzikaisa Malefane's guilty plea is untruthful, and he will reveal in the subsequent trial why he thinks, Muzikaisa Malefane made this plea.
Very briefly, Linda, we saw a very packed courtroom today. Who are those people that made up the numbers of those that were part of the public gallery?
Well, so essentially it's the family, Ntuthuko Shoba's family, together with, other organizations that are supporting the cause and the call for justice. We're also seeing political parties such as the EFF, but also, they come in very small numbers. The family of Ntuthuko Shoba, who refused to speak to any member of the media or refused to speak to anyone at this particular point. You see them sitting at the back of the court, really listening closely to the proceedings. But those are the people that have been coming in their numbers every time he appears. So there is a lot of support for the Ntuthuko Shoba family in terms of their call for justice in this matter.
All right, Linda Mnisi, let's leave it there for tonight.